Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your host and beat reporter, and I have been your beat reporter covering the Jacksonville Jaguars for On SI every single day since August 2019, and we are continuing to move forward through yet another season together. As always, you can find our 100% free 24/7 boots on the ground coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars when you follow us on social media such as Facebook and Twitter at Jaguars on SI. You can also find us at www.si.com/NFL/Jaguars. All right, folks, welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your host and beat reporter, and today we are continuing to talk about the Jaguars' Week 2 contest versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, to me, very clearly, one of the biggest factors this week is simply how much defense is Travis Hunter going to play. Travis Hunter only played 6 snaps on the defensive side last week. Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen said, essentially that was for a variety of reasons. Just knowing the time that he missed, obviously. Liam Cohen also noted the different things that the Panthers, threw out that they had to learn coverage-wise. And to me, I'd imagine that, and this is just me speculating, I'd imagine that they wanted Travis to just get his feet wet in his first game. He's clearly going to be a full-time receiver, so do that full-time, and then they will slowly start introducing him to the defensive side of the ball. Now, he said that will increase this week, his role on defense. What an increase really looks like, I'm not sure. It could be 7 snaps, just one more than last week. It could be 10, it could be 12, it could be 30. I doubt it's 30, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. I'm really not sure exactly the way the Jaguars plan to deploy him. Now, how they deployed him on defense was clear last week. They put him at outside corner. When they went against nickel sets, it was him and Tyson Campbell on the outside and Jordan Lewis in the slot. When the Jaguars weren't playing Travis Hunter, it was Jarian Jones playing that role. Jarian played quite a bit in week 1. As the Panthers went with a lot of 11 personnel. I'm interested now going against the Cincinnati Bengals team that has really lived in 11 personnel in the past, that has one of the most productive and notable, really passing groups of the entire NFL. And it goes just beyond, obviously Joe Burrow, obviously T. Higgins, obviously Jamar Chase. It goes beyond them. They have other weapons in the pass game. Noah Fant had a good game, the week before. But I think naturally having Travis Hunter on hand this week will be an advantage. Now, do I think that he's seeing an increased, share of snaps because it's that group? I don't think so. I think this was always the plan. I think if they had played the Panthers in week 2 and the Bengals in week 1, you'd probably see them do similarly. Maybe he plays more than 6 defensive snaps, so I'm not sure he plays that much more. But now that, he's gotten his feet wet, it's time to, in my opinion, unleash him. And maybe not to the full capacity of what they think he can do. I'm not saying play 65% of the snaps both sides of the ball. But against this Panthers team, I think you want to see him with at least 15 coverage snaps, I think. I think that'd be a good number for him to be at, just simply getting those reps out there. Because, it's another athlete on the field. It's another guy with fantastic ball skills. It's a playmaker. And I've said before, I believe as of his current state of development, as of today, he is a better corner than he is a wide receiver. Now, I understand why they're majoring in offense. He can make a bigger impact on the game, arguably, at wide receiver than at corner. And it's easier to kind of get him involved in the game flow at wide receiver because you can scheme touches to him. You can make him, primary read. Whereas at cornerback, you just have to hope that somebody throws the ball his way for him to be able to make a play. With that said, going against this wide receiver group, I don't think it's a negative at all to have Travis Hunter out there. I think it's a positive. I mean, considering what they did with their secondary last week, Jordan Lewis played great. I thought Tyson Campbell had a really good game. Eric Murray had a really good game. I don't see how it hurts you to have him out there more. Now, yeah, it's putting a lot on his plate. That's obviously true. It's learning two different game plans, two different positions. It's one thing in training camp because you're learning the scheme, you're learning the techniques. That's obviously a lot. But in my opinion, now that you're into the regular season, it's arguably even more. I believe that now that he has to learn not just the Jaguar scheme, but the opposing team's offense and defense. I mean, he's really learning four things now. He's learning the Jaguars' offense and defense. And then this week he's also learning the Bengals' offense and defense. It's a lot. But you're going against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Let the natural athleticism and playmaking ability take over, in my opinion. That's why you drafted him. They didn't draft him to, catch a couple screens and play a couple plays on defense. They drafted him to make an impact on both sides of the ball. And there is no better week upcoming on the schedule, I think, than this week to take advantage of him. No better week than this week to me to let Travis Hunter go out there and be Travis Hunter. Because if Travis Hunter goes out there for 15 snaps and he records a pass breakup, or if he records even a turnover in limited snaps, that changes the game. And in a game against a great opponent like the Bengals, turnovers can be really what shifts the entire thing. So I think ultimately for the Jaguars to reach their ceiling as a defense, they need Travis Hunter on the field in some form or capacity. And again, I'm not advocating for him to be an every down single player on both sides of the ball. I'm not sure that's feasible. And of course, they need him on offense because when Jamar Chase undoubtedly gets his, when T. Higgins gets his, when Joe Burrow throws a strike for a touchdown, whatever you want to call it, the Jaguars will need to respond offensively. And Travis Hunter is one of those ways that they can respond. Those choice routes, him on screens, him after the catch, especially over the middle. I think that the Jaguars obviously need Travis Hunter to make an impact on both sides of the ball. And even against a great passing offense like this, you can argue still that his impact on the offensive side of the ball just overshadows what he might do on defense. I might not agree with it, but I at least understand the logic. However, they said they were going to be bold when they drafted him. And to me, you can't draft him and not be willing to take the leap. You got to jump in both feet, in my opinion. You can't be hesitant about introducing him to both sides of the ball. So I firmly believe that Travis Hunter will play more defense this week. I think he should play more defense. I'm probably going to think that he should play more defense, honestly, even than he does on Sunday. But I think this is a good week for the Travis Hunter experiment to be kicked up a notch. Because they are playing a team where his impact and his influence on the field can just make that much of a difference. Now, if they were playing like the Tennessee Titans this week, who have no receivers, be a little bit different. I'd say, okay, you can probably take it slow for another week or so, etc. But to me, the fact that they're playing such a good passing offense, such a good quarterback, such good receivers, why not have your best athletes and your best playmakers out there? So ultimately, I think that the Travis Hunter role expanding this week can only be a good thing for the Jaguars. And it is the right time to do it. I understand it's only week 2. He's only played in one game, and that one game was limited snaps. But to me, he needs to play 15 coverage snaps this week. And that's not even just 15 snaps, which could be like 10 coverage snaps and 5 run defense snaps. Now, I think he needs to be in coverage on at least 15 plays this Sunday versus the Bengals. Thank you guys for listening to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. Back next time.